Can life be meaningful without belief in God? Well, of course it bloody well can. I've never understood why people who believe in God would think otherwise. Nor has it ever seemed particularly clear to me why people who believe in God automatically assume that they have a purpose or that their life has a meaning. What do the two things even have to do with each other? It's far from obvious to me. Of course, there are a great many people throughout history who had no belief in God, but clearly led lives full of purpose. Albert Einstein wasn't strictly speaking an atheist, but he wasn't a theist either. He rejected the idea of a personal God, identifying instead with agnosticism or pantheism. Unfortunately for the world, his life clearly lacked any meaning or purpose. Carl Sagan, Richard Feynman, and Alan Turing, all men whose lives clearly lacked any meaning or purpose. Bertrand Russell, Margaret Atwood, clearly their lives were not worth living, are not worth living in Margaret's case. Mark Twain, Isaac Asimov, Kurt Vonnegut Jr. If only they'd been theists, they might have contributed something meaningful to the world. Simone de Beauvoir, if only she'd believed in God, she might have lived a life of meaning and, I don't know, contributed something significant to philosophy and the cause of women. Living a meaningful life has nothing to do with whether or not one happens to believe in God. Many theists have certainly lived meaningful lives, and many probably completely wasted their lives. Now, I'm not going to sit here and claim that theists like Christians, Jews, and Muslims can't or don't have purpose in their life. So, if you're a theist, I would appreciate that you not try to belittle or undermine my life or the life of any atheist by claiming that they don't have purpose. Some of you may not say so directly, but you imply it indirectly when you say something like, if you believed in God, you would find purpose for your life. And more than one Christian or Muslim has said that kind of thing in comments on my videos. That is condescending, to say the least. The meaning and purpose of your life doesn't have to be world-changing. You don't have to have the impact of an Einstein for your life to be meaningful. The purpose of an organism might just be to produce the next generation. If it achieves that, it's been successful. Your purpose might be to look after your children and maybe grandchildren. That may give meaning to your life. It can be anything that gives your life focus and direction, and it has nothing, absolutely nothing, to do with believing in God or not believing in God. I think the mistake some theists might make is in thinking that for something to have meaning, it must be eternal. There's nothing at all that makes that so. I suppose if you want to add to the claim something like this, life has no ultimate meaning if you don't believe in God, well, that may be true. But I, for one, don't aspire to ultimate meaning. That's a little presumptuous, don't you think? I don't aspire to be that important. William Craig Lane, an awful Christian apologist that I've mentioned before on this channel, argues that without God there is no objective reason for the universe's existence, making human life ultimately meaningless. Any meaning we create is subjective and fleeting, he argues. And what, I would say, is wrong with that? Who are you that you think your life should have some kind of ultimate meaning? Grow up. C.S. Lewis, another Christian apologist who I have a little more time for, at least he has some academic clout, he contends that belief in God provides a framework in which our lives are part of a larger, meaningful story. But my life is part of a larger, meaningful story that includes the people who came before me, the people who come after me. It includes people I've influenced and who've influenced me in turn. It includes my participation in society, even if it's just voting in an election. So your life too is part of a bigger story, whether you believe in God or not, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. They have no right to belittle your value and importance in this way. The desire for more is childish and egotistical. People who are looking for more, who think they should have some kind of forever or eternal value, need to take a good hard look at themselves. These people need to grow up. Even if our lives don't have some kind of ultimate and eternal meaning, our meaning and purpose still doesn't end with us. It passes down through the culture, through history, however modestly. Even if the human race is wiped out sometime during the next few centuries by an asteroid strike, that doesn't make its existence meaningless. At least it wouldn't do so for me. On the other hand, something enduring forever doesn't automatically give it meaning. A sentence that goes on forever never has meaning. Ending can be the very thing that gives something meaning. So it's possible to live a meaningless life with God or without God. And it's possible to live a meaningful life with God or without God. Personally, I prefer my life's meaning to be grounded in my own decisions and actions rather than in those of someone or something external to me.